gifts would we use?
I know what gifts I would use, but I don't know what gifts you guys would use.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it in our next doomed American series.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the last ones, though, as JDL America should be coming to the close. I mean, they have like a whole bracket thing going on here, but I don't know if it's... most of the bracket actually isn't relevant because they're playing for spots in Division 1, and they've already kind of solidified most of them. So, like, there's one more game that actually matters, and then that's it. So I don't know if it's going to be...
Well, for now, this draft is looking pretty similar. We're not going to see the Mirana played by Ink again, as he's going to be denied that hero. It's very interesting to see it first ban, but after the performance in game number 1, I'm pretty sure that that's... I don't know, just something that they don't want to deal with. Centaur first pick from Isurus. It worked well for them in game number 2, although we'll have to see about game number 3. Centaur Warner is a decent hero to be playing when you have ping issues, but honestly the ping issues shouldn't be that terrible. US East is a fairly standard server for American tournaments all around, and Isurus play on it fairly frequently. Despite having more ping than Root, it still shouldn't be impacting their play that much.
Yeah, I think Isurus play on US East a lot more than Root play on the South American servers, just because most of the tournaments are housed in the US, so that's just the way it falls. Root Gaming, they're going to go for the first pick, Ogre Magi. I don't know if this is going to be mid Ogre Magi once again. Isurus are definitely going to keep this in mind, however, and pick up a hero that can absolutely dominate the lane as opposed to Wind Ranger, who does okay in the lane. Ogre Magi is certainly punishable if Root decide to do the exact same thing, and as you said, because your boy JC might be a little bit on tilt, we might be seeing a couple of weird heroes, although it looks like for now it's just going to be Viper and Ancient Apparition again from Isurus. They just really love this hero.
It's the opener that they went for game 2, and I suppose it worked out for them pretty well, but I'm still on the fence about it. Ancient Apparition and Centaur, despite having some pretty good synergy between the two, the minus resist from Icy Vortex as well as the Blink Hoof Stomp into Ancient Apparition Ice Blast initiation is being pretty solid. I think you can get these heroes later on the draft. Maybe pick up the Centaur Warner first, but at least delay the Ancient Apparition until the second banning stage.
It looks like Isurus, they remember game number 1, and they're going to make sure that that does not happen again, though with these bans it is going to allow the Skywrath Mage to get through, and well, Root are also going to very heavily target those supports, so supports are going to be in high demand right now, though Ancient Apparition can partner off with a whole bunch of different heroes. Vengeful Spirit, just off the top of my head, is a really good combo, and Root already have their support cast as well, so I don't really know if all these supports deserve this much hate.
Yeah, I suppose so. The Wraith King, I think, even if it's not played as a support, would still be a pretty solid pickup for Isurus. So I think the bans coming up from Root are fine, but then again, the Isurus bans I'm still on the fence about. Again, the Quirky hero could be a thing, and although they don't want to give away the same draft that we saw in game number 1, I don't think we'd be seeing a repeat performance. Just seeing the mid-ogre is already in and of itself very peculiar, and I don't think Root are going to be going down that avenue for a second time. Usually it is just a one-off thing. Vengeful Spirit is the choice from Isurus, is going to give them yet another stun to set up for the Centaur, as well as for the Ancient Apparition. And a solid combo in and of itself. I'm liking Isurus Gaming's lineup, but then again, Root Gaming are no slouches either as far as their heroes.
All these heroes that we see right now, all individually powerful, that get a lot more powerful when they're dealing with a couple of friends. Root, they're going to go for, it looks like just a very tame lineup. Puck now the pickup for them, might be going into a solo lane. I think with Ogre Skywrath Mage, you want to be laning very aggressively. Don't really know what hero they're going to take to complement that. They do have 3 ranged heroes. This might be a Drow Ranger game.
It very well could be. Although a lot of people don't do it, I like seeing Drow Ranger in lineups where you don't have all 5 of your heroes ranged. Just having one tanky hero that can soak up a lot of the focus in the front lines, Blink Initiator, preferably Tide or Centaur, fits very well. Although we're not going to see the the Visage Drow combination, they still have a lot of damage to put through if they do decide to go for a Drow Ranger. That said, one multicast and Drow Ranger will die. If she's amplified by the Ancient Seal, and even not if it is a high enough multicast and she doesn't have a BKB. Either way, They might be shying away from that, but I still think it's a viable way to go about picking up the draft. But instead, they go for the Faceless Void. Although they don't have the best synergy with their other heroes, if this is a farming Faceless Void, he can do the damage in the Chronosphere by himself. And setting up for the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is already a really solid combination.
I was actually thinking Jaw Ranger a little bit more for Root, as they had their range heroes up and available, but it would have been also perfectly viable for Isurus, especially with the Venge. That synergy is legit, and it would have been pretty much mirrored on either side. Like, they would have each had ranged power about equal to each other. But it's not going to be the problem just yet. Isurus definitely should keep that in mind, as they do get the Invoker banned out from them. With the Faceless Void picked up, Isurus are going to have quite a bit of initiation with Faceless and Centaur. Do they want to go for a Storm once again? That's a little bit of a different question. They have a couple of tools to deal with the puck, but Magic Missile, Hoof Stomp, these are by no means guaranteed stuns.
Yeah. It's still Root Gaming. They could go in pretty much any direction that they wanted to. I'm presuming this is going to be an offlane hero for them, but they can shuffle things around and go for the puck offlane, which is also a pretty decent way to go about it, and it's going to be an Earthshaker. We might be seeing yet another core Ogre Magi, but I think and hope this is a core Earthshaker.
Yeah, as good as Ogre Magi solo mid is, we already saw that, and I think it's about time to see something else. Earthshaker as core with Ogre Scarith Mage. Like, if they just put all those three heroes in a lane together, it doesn't even matter who gets the farm, because they'll have so many ways to kill the enemies that it's honestly not even going to matter. Like, they have stuns, on silences, on Mystic Flares. It'll be a good time so that Root Tri-Lane, if it does come together, it will be two melee heroes, which is a little bit awkward, but, you know, what are you going to do? You have Earthshaker and Ogre Magi. You're kind of put yourself into that situation. So we'll see how this actually works out for Root. If game one is any indication, I'm inclined to say it's just going to be Scarith Mage, Earthshaker support, which is very standard with a Viper, Ogre Magi mid, puck in a solo lane.
Yeah, I think that's the most standard way to lane it, although I'd love to see Earthshaker is the farming core in the tri-lane, and then maybe start out defensively, kill off the Centaur for first blood, and then roam the Scarith Mage and Ogre Magi throughout the other three lanes, or other two lanes rather. I don't know. I don't think you can really mess up with those three though. If ever they find themselves in the lane together, whether by just roams or otherwise, it kills. The last pick be a Warlock. This one's probably going mid. PDX is it's going mid.
Oh, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Warlock, another hero that we don't see all that often. As far as putting damage into the Chronosphere, you're not really relying on Chaotic Offering to do that. You can drop the golems in there. They won't hit. They will burn people, though, with Immolation. It's mostly just going to be about that Fatal Bonds. If you could land a Chronosphere onto 2 or 3 heroes and then bond them up, they're just going to get absolutely demolished. And then you drop a rock maybe a little bit after, and then get some value from there on out. And if Warlock is going to be played as a core role, then he's going to get his ultimate very, very quickly. Root, they have answers to this, but they don't really have any great answers to Warlock Golems. The only hero that I could see conceivably getting a Diffusal Blade is Viper, and he would really not want to do that. But anyway, we're going to be seeing how it actually shapes up as they're loading out into their lanes. On Root, we do have the most aggressive of aggressive tri-lanes with Lycus on the Earthshaker, Tubby the Fat on the Ogre, and your boy JC on the Scarith Mage. Over towards mid, we got Tolera's Puck, and top lane, we got Inkdota's Viper.
And on the other side, we are going to Isurus, currently aggressively postured themselves with Gotta Make It to Heaven on the Vengeful Spirit, potentially Merlino, as one person in the chat said his name is, but honestly, he's going to be the Vengeful Spirit today. We are going to see Centaur played by Dulce, and currently the dual lane in bottom is going to be Pepita on the Faceless Void. Actually, Ancient Emperor has made his way towards top as well. Algadoncha playing on that hero, and mid Warlock handled by DDX.
Not going to be a fun lane for Viper by any stretch. The Ancient Apparition is going to have a pretty nice opportunity to make Chilling Touch work its magic, and when it hits level 2, Cold Feet is also going to be extremely relevant. If you Cold Feet someone and then Magic Missile them and Hoof Stomp them, that's going to be like 5 seconds of sheer disable, and as tanky as Viper is, he can't withstand that, and they're going to smoke up from the get-go. Double damage rune on Centaur, not a bad opening, and they're going to wrap around and try to go for this Puck. If Puck gets Illusory Orb, he should be fine. However, if he doesn't, then he's in a lot of trouble right now. Let's see if they're actually going to go for it. He's playing pretty cautiously. Tolera seems to know what's going on right now. Don't go down there, Tolera. It's bad news if you do.
Oh, he's thinking about it. I don't think he's going to do it, though. They didn't catch eyes on the smoke, just good game sense. Without boots on the Vengeful Spirit, very unlikely that that stunt's going to land onto Tolera, whether he went for Loser Orb or Phase Shift. There's plenty of ways that he can dodge that gank, and well played by Tolera, despite giving away a wave to the Warlock. Definitely worth it if you're able to avoid that first blood attempt. Currently, it is got to make it to heaven, which might be going the hard way around as he does get sent up by the Fissure, but there's no follow-up disables from the Skywrath Mage. Now with the Chilling Touch, they are going to fend off the other heroes. Got to make it to heaven as skirting around on the outskirts does have another magic missile, now being salved up. Potentially a turn if the Skywrath Mage hangs around too long. We potentially will see some lockdown on the Sky, but he is too fast, so there's no way that magic missile is going to land. Lycus is the more likely to fall. He's going to need one Chilling Touch auto attack, but I think that's going to be it, as there's no other rotations.
Supports are going to be very aggressively roaming, and by these supports I mean all supports. They're now going to find Algodonchian. Fissure's going to open things up with a Fire Blast and Ignite to follow. I think this is going to be the kill onto the Ancient Apparition. He's going to try to eat himself some health, but it's going to be your boy JC to draw first blood, and now Pipita and Gotta Make It to Heaven both in a little bit of trouble. Lycus does not have any more mana. Tubby the Fat very quickly is going to consume a Clarity, but it's not going to be enough to actually kill off anyone else. Regardless, it is going to be first blood going the way of Root, going to give the Skywrath Mage enough gold for his boots, and well, really, these supports, they are off to a pretty nice start. Tubby the Fat honestly can be left alone down in the bottom lane versus this Faceless Void. However, he's actually not having the best of times. As what, Puck dying solo to a Warlock? That should never happen.
Ever. I do not know what happened. Yeah, I don't get it. Puck apparently just playing too aggressively. I don't know what was going through Tolera's head. He's going to go aggressively against DDX, but DDX finds himself a haster, and this Warlock just got away with murder, and quite literally too. Fatal Bonds as well as the Shadow Word being maxed out is the build that I would expect this game, and I suppose with the harass damage coming out from the Fatal Bonds, it was enough to get the kill on the Puck. I still don't understand how that actually went down. I'm probably gonna have to watch the replay to see how that happened, but I assume it's just Tolera getting way too over aggressive.
DX does have quite a bit of base damage. That's what Warlock does work with. A fantastic attack animation and a lot of base damage to boot, especially going for a Null Talisman at level 1. So he's putting out some pretty serious damage, but it's over on bottom lane where we see more action. Algodonchian get hit with a Fissure. He is going to put the Chilling Touch onto Pepita, but he's now all alone. Vengeful Spirit's in the area to potentially help out, but Tubby is very tanky. He's got 7 armor and a stout shield. This guy's not going to go down anytime soon. They get the kill on the AA, and that should be about it. Top lane has remarkably devolved into just a 1v1 lane, and that's a very, very easy lane for Viper. Centaur might get some experience off of this one, but Viper is going to have this lane under firm control.
I'm actually pretty surprised that Ink isn't dominating this lane more. That's going to change as soon as more levels go into the Viper. Actually, no, he's level 5 now. The Centaur is level 4, and actually getting away with a lot more than I thought he would at this point, especially with 3 points up in the Poison attack and 2 points up in the Nether Toxin. Corrosive Skin is nice up against the Centaur, especially when you have that point in return. You can constantly get the procs off onto it, although from here on out, the Centaur should be getting nothing. DDX, once he gets level 6, maybe there's a little bit more kill potential on this Puck, but the action is going to be on bottom as they find a Bastion to Lycus. Lycus is going to be brought down with that Chilling Touch on the Faceless Void. He throws out a Fissure, but it's not enough to save him. 2-2 our kill score, and Isurus are looking pretty solid here in this game number 3.
Yeah, the Centaur is getting a little bit. The Warlock's doing just fine. The bottom lane's doing just fine as well. Pizza with 20 CS is going to be very far ahead over the Ogre Magi, even though the kill potential for Root is certainly here on the bottom lane. If they're not pressuring the Faceless Void back, and if they're not killing him, then it doesn't really matter what kill potential you have because, well, you're not getting anything done anyway. So Root, they really need to put the pressure up on the bottom lane, and well, having your boy JC run forward with no mana and no health is certainly not the best way to start this. They're going to open up with the Fire Blast to Pepita, but he's just going to time walk away. Now your boy JC, he went in with like 200 HP. I don't really know what the thought process there was, but he is going to get punished for it. Now top lane Dulce is going to just get walked down by Ink Dota. There's the dominance that we were talking about before, and it should be about it for the action, but Root making some questionable decisions down bottom. Skywrath even had a salve.
Yeah. It is going to be the Viper going for the mechanism for his team. Headdress now completed. Is going to decide to go for more of a utility role than we saw in the last game from Isurus's Viper. This Puck currently only boots is getting demolished by the Warlock. Not as far as CS is concerned, but the solo kill really hurting Tolera. As down in bottom, Ancient Apparition caught out by the Fissure as well as by the Fire Blast will be brought down by one more bop of Tubby the Fat's club, as well as an Arcane Bolt, if that was even needed. So they will find themselves a kill, although it's not a very important one. it's still going to be nice for Root. They need to keep on doing this. Currently, it's going to be Vengeful Spirit sitting mid behind the Warlock. Puck avoiding a little bit of the damage from the Fatal Bonds, but now level 6 on DDX, he needs to be careful. If there is a support rotation, dropping the Golem onto the Puck, that's a feasible way to kill him off.
Really, Root, they are doing pretty decently on the bottom lane. Like, they're not completely shutting down Pepita, but they're getting kills here and there on the Ancient Apparition, which is nice enough. They really need to put the pressure up on the other lanes, because Centaur is not having a good time. DDX, crucially, he needs more pressure, and Root, they're not doing anything to stop him. Now the Warlock ultimate's going to drop over on mid. Tolera is going to dodge the Magic Missile. Well played by him. That's going to buy him safe passage out of there. So Warlock Golem finally used, and it has a very long cooldown as well. 165 is one of the longer cooldowns out there. It's going to put a little bit of damage to this tower, but it's not going to get a kill, and that's really what they're aiming for. Now on bottom lane, they're going to rotate in once again. It's going to be probably Ancient Apparition yet again to take the fall here, although Pepita not in exactly a safe position either. The Fissure's not going to be thrown, nor is the Fire Blast. Where are the spells? Guys, you have mana, use it. Pepita now going to hit with the Fire Blast and a Fissure, but he's already in tower range, so they can't get this kill. No one from anywhere is going to die. Maybe the mid lane tower is going to drop, in fact.
Tier 1 tower in mid probably is going to fall with the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Warlock working onto this tower. They will glyph it up, and that's going to be enough to repel this, actually. Yeah, the Vengeful Spirit was just a little too far away. With the chains, however, Puck is dropping very low. It's going to eat the heal from the Warlock, and I think Puck is dead. Yeah, Puck is gone. See you later, buddy.
Alright, so bottling up and trying to survive, but just barely short. That's the second kill that, well, now we saw how pretty much the first kill happened. Puck is not going to be too happy about that one, but DDX finding kills with just Shadow Word and a little bit of Fatal Bonds is a lot more than you would get 99% of the time, and killing off a Puck is certainly going to be damaging. Now in bottom lane, Pepita, barely going to dodge death. He was ignited, and the last tick brought him down to 10 HP, almost single digits, but Root, they're not going to get anything over on mid. They're not going to get enough on bottom to make it worth it. Yes, having a Viper get farm is great. We saw this in the last game, but it's certainly not going to win you the game. Tolera needs to salvage his crappy early game with something like this. Go for a very easy kill. Use the coil, use your orb, and don't miss a Tolera. This should be a guaranteed kill.
Boop. There's your Lucifer Orb to secure things. It is going to be Midas on the Warlock. I like this choice. It's going to accelerate his farm. It's a decently timed Midas, although not the fastest. We've seen on mid after going for bottle as well as for the boots and talisman, it's definitely serviceable, and it's going to accelerate the farm towards the refresher as well as Aghanim Scepter. If you rush towards the Ags, he'd probably have it faster than if he went for the Midas, but this way the two items are going to come up at a better pace. And once you have the Ags refresher on the Warlock, it actually doesn't matter if there's one Diffusal Blade on the enemy team, and it's very hard to mess up a team fight when you have double Chaotic Offering to drop.
Who's going to actually kill off those golems? Like, they don't have anyone who could do it. If they had a Gyrocopter or a Luna, then they wouldn't be too concerned, but Viper is not going to do it. So Root, they need to be ahead at this stage of the game. Instead, they're kind of stalled out. Like, they can't really get anything going. They're being aggressed upon. Their Puck is pretty much like 1,000 to 1,500 gold away from where he really wants to be. He should be approaching his Blink Dagger right now if this Puck was, having a good game, but unfortunately he's not. So Root, they really need to step up the aggression. Otherwise, if it does go into a late game situation, Warlock is just going to absolutely crush Root 100% of the time. Assuming he gets his ultimate off. It is possible that he gets initiated upon and he can't get the Chaotic Offering down, but that's pretty difficult without any Blink Dagger.
Well, yeah, especially when the range for Chaotic Offering is so huge. It's very difficult for them to find him, and if DDX's positioning is good, even if they do get to kill on the Warlock, it's probably going to put them in a very compromising position for either the Earthshaker or Puck, whoever's blinking in onto them, and they need to be able to kill him off solo, and I don't really see that happening with the level of farm they have. Puck would need a Dagon and probably a Scythe, and even then, the defensive swaps as well as just damage coming up from the Centaur and Faceless Void would probably be too much. I think even theoretically, it's going to be hard for them to do so. Viper Strike lines into Pepita up top, but it won't net them a kill, just going to be a little bit of harass. In fact, two of those ticks being backtracked, Faceless Void doesn't care very much at all. And even just with the Warlock, their late game is already going to be sketchy, and now they're going to find a kill on the Puck in mid. They drop the Chronosphere, and that's a dead Tolera. They're going to get one bash, and I think that's all that they really need. The damage is just too much. He gets another bash as he comes out. One more auto attack from DDX secures him the killing spree, as well as the last hit. Double damage rune now secured by the Warlock. Central ultimate used for bottom. They get the multicast onto Dulce, but the magic missile going the way of Tubby, as well as the Hoof Stomp double edge. Tubby's going to fall for nothing traded for Root. That's going to be 2 kills going the way of Isurus.
unfortunate for them. They're now going to blow a smoke, which is actually pretty nice. Your boy JC, I don't really know why he's this deep, though. He's going to land silence onto Gotta Make It to Heaven, but now Ink Dota is going to do some heavy lifting. He's going to kill off one, then kill off the other. Your boy JC is now going to go down. Viper Strike is not available. Algodonchin is going to have to pull out the sickest jukes of his life. But poison attack, and I don't think Algodonchin is actually going to be able to survive, although he's going to juke Ink for a little bit. One more hit will kill him off. Can't get it, and now Ink has got to go behind the tower. Oh my god, Q Benny Hill, Algodonchin is going to make it out alive. He's going to survive, and over towards mid, DDX is going to clean up the Earthshaker. I cannot believe the Ancient Apparition managed to do that, but he lived. 9-7 is the kill score as DDX cleans up even more. 2,400 gold in the Warlock. So close to having that Aghanim Scepter already. Only 11 minutes into.
And that's after going for a Midas. Like, this is decent farm if you take away the Midas, and now you just have that extra influx of gold. His refresher is probably going to come out at like 27 minutes. They finally get the Ancient Apparition with the blink on Tolera, or now the John, but now the ultimate being dropped. They're going to get the chains as well. Magic Missile is going to delay things a little bit. I'm not sure they can secure both of these kills. They just don't have any other way to chase outside of the Magic Missile and the swap, which isn't even online for the Vengeful Spirit. So Warlock Golem again going to be used without netting them a kill. Tolera's going to turn back in here as they're looking for the kill on the Warlock, which would be huge. They get the Mystic Flare. The Central Ultimate is going to keep DDX a little bit safer, but with the Silence and the Urn Tick, a little bit more damage is all that they need. The heal, however, from DDX, I think that's going to keep him safe as he jukes through, and Tolero is almost completely out of mana and can't get out of here. He's going to be burned down by Immolation if nothing else, and gets bought by the Golem one more time for a mega kill for DDX. That was so close to being a very crucial kill for Root, but they end up just feeding away their puck for it, and that's going to be 3,200 gold, 1,000 gold away from the Ags.
That's same time, or a little bit before that, they got a kill up on the Ogre Magi, who was up on top. A very simple time walk, slow down into a walk-in, and hoof stomp got that kill, and now Centaur is, well, he's well on his way to his Blink Dagger. It's not going to be the fastest blink of all time, but it will be helped a little bit if they get initiation on Tubby the Fat. And there's a Chronosphere available. Dulce is going to walk right in. Pepita, how good is your Chronosphere? Doesn't even matter because the Ice Blast landed, and now Ogre Magi is going to get slowly beaten down. Tolera's going to teleport in, multicast into Pepita, but it's going to be the death of the Ogre Magi in the end. Tolera really wants this kill. No backtrack on Pepita. He's going to try to fight his way out, but I don't think he's going to win this one, although he's going to time walk away and teleport out. He's going to live, and the coil was used and it missed. Oh man, that was right on the edge. I feel like that should have hit, but unfortunately, they get nothing up top, just Root bleeding heroes, and they do not have good late game, so they cannot afford to be doing.
Yeah, they really can't. And that's a Dream Cool down for 60 seconds where Tolera is going to be able to do nothing. Went for the Urn of Shadows, which I think is an okay choice, especially since he didn't upgrade his boots. The gold that he spent on Urn probably would have been spent on treads any other time. And the extra tank is nice, as well as a decent amount of damage that almost got him a couple of kills. Definitely better than Urn on Spectre, but still, you want to have a Blink Dagger at this time, at the very latest, and Puck isn't even halfway there. We are going to see in mid, Vengeful Spirit going very aggressively, tagged by the Concussive Shot as well as by Fire Blast. Now the ultimate from Skywrath Mage, Gotta Make It to Heaven, is going there, but probably not the way that he wanted to. DDX not going to be hit by the Fissure as Lycus. I think that was blind since it is nighttime, but it looks really ridiculous on my screen.
Yeah, he's not going to catch DDX. However, Ink Dota is going to catch him with some poison. DDX does not have his ultimate. I think they probably should have tried to chase that one down, try to get Ink Dota in range for a Viper Strike, because killing off DDX at this point is just so important. This guy has 5 kills to his name, hasn't died a single time, and he's farming really, really terrifyingly quick. He's 300 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter, and Root can barely handle one Golem. Hell, they could barely even handle Isurus without Golems, so when you add 2 of them into the fray, things get extremely messy. They're gonna, I think, just go for a Hail Mary. Like, this is pretty much a desperation push at this point, as weird as it is to say, and they can't really afford to do this. They're gonna be going up against a Chronosphere in 20, as well as the Golems, as well as an Ice Blast. Way too much AoE, and Root, they need to be picking off people one at a time, at least until Puck gets his Blink Dagger, in which case they could start a team fight, but until that happens, they're pretty much relegated to solo pickoffs and nothing else.
DDX, Aghanim Scepter flying to him out on the career. Now, after going for Midas, Bottle, Boots, Null Talisman, he hasn't, like, spared any of the little extraneous items, and he's going to have it before 50 minutes. This is a wonderful timing. Even if you straight up rush it, it's still a fine timing, and he's going to have that double ultimate and crucially level 11 because he backed up for the Midas. They're thinking about going on in mid, but that's very dangerous. If he has any backup, the double golems are just going to rip apart Root Gaming. In the meantime, it's Puck and Scarlet Mage that are potentially going to get gone on, although Pepita and the supports think better of it. DDX is going to be tagged by an Ignite, but this isn't a fight that Tubby can actually win. He's going to multicast DDX, but he's pretty darn tanky. Almost 1500 HP and 5 armor on the Warlock, as well as the heal to sustain through it. He's going to be tagged by a Fissure as well, but now the Warlock Golem dropped down to both of them. He's not microed them correctly as he farms up some creeps. It doesn't matter. His Lycus is tagged with the ultimate from the Ancient Apparition. No other way to slow down Tubby the Fat, as Upheaval is only level 1 and probably wouldn't have helped anything. And they're not close enough to the tower to take it straight up, but the tier 2 is going to be a lot worse for wear. Now the Puck up in top might get caught out here, as Gotta Make It Evan is going to attack the creeps after dropping a ward, pretty much giving away the fact that they have vision behind this tower, but Talair doesn't seem to mind. He is going to be attacked by the magic missile, or not the magic missile, wave of terror. The Stomp is going to be jaunted away, and now the Puck is going to be safe, although he's able to do nothing. Long Timehawk looking for the Chronosphere potentially, but it's not there from Pepita, just stuck awkwardly in the trees. Talair is going to very cheekily stand in front of him, silence him, but he's taking more damage than the Faceless Void is. Does find a nice little angle where you can right click him, but Pepita now with the time lock. This Puck needs to get out of there. Swap comes out from the Vengeful Spirit. Probably not necessary. There's TPN coming out from, excuse me, the Scarlet Mage. Just got to make the Evan. Is probably going to die here. The time lock as well as TP away is going to keep the Faceless Void safe at the very least. Now they find themselves DDX. This could be a huge pickup. The Scarlet Mage ultimate. They're going to be able to blow up the Warlock. I'm curious to see how much gold he actually gave away there. I think the Golems timed out and weren't killed, but still, that's going to secure your Blink Dagger for your Puck. Just waiting for the kill recap to pop back up, and it might not actually do so. There we go. And the loss of the Warlock is going to cost them a gold swing of about 1600, and at 16 minutes in, that's very significant, especially for the almost 700 gold on the Puck.
That kill on the Warlock was so desperately needed from Root. Like, even though the Warlock golems haven't been the best, he's still he was 6-1. They're going to lose Tubby the Fat very quickly over towards mid. There's no Ice Blast just yet, but I don't think Tubby the Fat's going to be able to get out of here. He is going to throw an Fire Blast over towards Dulce and ignite a couple of heroes as well. Fissure's coming in with a concussive shot. The burst damage is not quite going to be enough, but they should be able to chase him down. At the same time, Viper gets a solo kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Root Gaming, they're fighting back. It took them a little while longer. All they were waiting for was for the enemy to pick up an Aghanims on the Warlock, and then they're going to make some pretty big plays because they just got a whole bunch of kills, and suddenly they are holding a very narrow lead in this game. The only question is it narrow enough? Is it enough in order to counteract this team fight ultimate from the Warlock? Because that is just the testing factor of Root's lineup, and they really still don't have any answers to it.
Yeah. If you look at where the gold is distributed on Root, their lead is entirely in the pockets of the Earthshaker as well as the Ancient Apparition, but might not be so, as Pepita's going to be tagged by Silence, as well as the Mystic Flare. They don't have enough damage as he backtracks a little bit, but now he's going to fall, not able to get anything off before he dies. Dreamcoil and quite a lot of spells were committed to that, but it's killing the Faceless Void, so definitely worth it after all is said and done, especially since they're going to put a lot of pressure on the tier 1 tower. Jumping from Centaur only lands on the Viper, and Viper gets last out in the tower. Ink's not taking enough damage to really warrant this. He's going to probably put just as much damage as the Warlock did back to him. Actually, no, the nerf on the Corrosive skin, as far as the range is concerned, is going to keep DDX safe from that damage.
Wouldn't have done the most, but it's still certainly going to be very helpful for the Warlock. I mean, that's pretty much one of the reasons why they changed it. I think the main one was Morphling Replicate. It was truly very annoying, but you know, who knows? It is going to be DDX still roaming around. Stampede now onto the Earthshaker. Poor Earthshaker. He never stood a chance. Didn't have a chance to cast a single thing, and he's going to go down. DDX has double golems up, and Root, they're going to have to fight into that because Isurus, they're going to force the issue over on the mid lane. The best case scenario for Root is that they blink in with the Puck, land a nice coil, and they kill off the Warlock, chain stun him down before he can get his offerings out. That's very ambitious, and I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, currently we have the Vengeful Spirit sitting in mid with the Invis rune. I'm not sure if he's been spotted out yet, but looking to find an opening isn't going to be able to make that happen. The group up is coming from Isurus, but they want to find a pickoff before they push into this, as Pepita's farming solo up top, and it's going to take a long time before he's actually able to join this fight. So despite having the Warlock ulti, they're not feeling comfortable enough to push in this tier 2 yet.
I think they really should. Like, unless you severely mess up and like have a stroke midway through the fight, you're going to win it once you drop the double golems. DDX, he's very poorly positioned, however, and this is not something that really Isurus can afford to have happen. If this Fissure hits, it will hit, but it will get swapped out. DDX still silenced. He's gonna try to turn around as soon as he's unsilenced, but it's not in time. Echo Slam's gonna kill him off. That's 2 kills for Root. They make it happen because DDX is way out of position. Like, he had Venture Spirit to back him up, but Venture Spirit is not enough backup with only level 1 swap. Root take 2 huge kills, and now they're going to take a tower.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, a good performance as far as laning stage is concerned for this Warlock. He had a great time up against the puck, getting the solo kills, but after the laning stage, it just feels like DDX isn't very comfortable on this hero. His usages of ultimate haven't been ideal. He's been using it, which is nice, rather than letting it sit in your... rather just sit off of cooldown, but they haven't netted them kills, and the tier 1 tower in mid, although it took a lot of damage from it, it wasn't ideal. In that fight, it was just Warlock way out in front, and Warlock's not a very mobile hero by any stretch of the imagination, and when you get caught out like that, the Fissure is going to secure your demise, even with the defensive swap. That's how bad the positioning coming out from the Warlock was, and they also lose Vengeful Spirit. It's Root finding their footing in this game, and suddenly their Viper is the one at the top of the net worth chart with Aghanim Scepter mechanism as well as the makings of BKB. This Viper is very tanky and quite honestly very scary for Isurus to deal with.
Isurus, they're going to need to really just shape up, and if they stay as 5 heroes, if they use the Chronospheres and the Stampedes and the chaotic offerings correctly, then they're right back into this game. It's not really a huge lead for Root because, again, they're still so vulnerable to this AoE, but if they lose a Basis Void like this, that's not what's good. I mean, Pepita is thinking about time walking out, but he's not going to have the chance. He's going to go down. Now they're going to catch Dulce as well. There's a Stampede. He's going to try to go for your boy JC with the Ice Blast landing. It's going to get the kill. Now the golems are dropped. Talera's going to get bashed down so very quickly, and Root just have to run, but it's still a 2-for-2 trade that is going to benefit them as long as Ink Dota doesn't go down right now, and it looks like he will be just fine. Once again, the Warlocks, I mean, he gets a kill on the puck, which is all well and good, but you really expect a little bit more from an Aghanim's ultimate. Now DDX potentially in a little trouble. One of the Warlock golems is running away, and DDX really needs help right now. The double Fire Blast is going to bring him down very low. The Ignite's going to kill him off. Now Gotta Make It Heaven is going to very quickly make it there. He's going to drop as well. That's 4 for 2, and they might actually kill off a couple of these golems as Ogre Magi is dishing a ton of magical damage. Not enough to get any kills, but Viper is the one to collect. He has pretty much his BKB completed. No, he doesn't. Only 1400 gold on him, but still, he's extraordinarily stacked right now.
Tubby does multicast down one of the golems, but can't fight against the other one. Where did he find that Aghanim Scepter farm? Like, that completely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting the Unrefined Fire Blast to be coming out. I thought Ogre would be going for a Force Staff with his Staff of Wizardry, but just out of nowhere, Tubby the Fat's dishing. Instead of going straight for the Refresher, it's a Warlock that goes for the Force Staff, and I think this is necessary, although it's not where he wants to be building into. Again, it's going to be Warlock ultimate that doesn't really do anything. Even if you look at the trade before the pickoff on the Warlock as well as Centaurs, we do have a fight breaking out in the river area. Like is probably going to die to the Centaur, trying to run away, but the Dreamcoil is going to keep himself safe. The Time Walk forward, and one bash from Pepita will secure that kill and probably make it out alive. They do get vision of him. It's on the backlines. The Viper is going for the Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit can't get out there, and the multicast onto the Faithless Void is going to kill him. A godlike spree for Ink Dota. Root are just making things happen where I thought they wouldn't be able to do so. If we take a look at the graphs, even though they started out with such a kill disadvantage, the only time Isurus had advantage, it was negligible at best, maybe 100 gold in their favor. Just throughout the entirety of the game, Root have been finding a lot more than I thought they would, and crucially for them, the Warlock, despite getting a lot of farm in the early game, isn't doing anything with it.
DDX is certainly underperforming in this game, and Root, they're firing it off on all cylinders. Like, they got Chronosphered and Ice Blasted in that river area, and it looked like it would just be easy cleanup for Isurus, but they ended up turning it around. They had a silence come out at the last second on the Faceless Void and put out a lot of damage onto him with the puck's help. And Root, they're getting picks where ordinarily they shouldn't be getting anything at all, and that's really hard to do. And the fact that Viper is so farmed, it's going to give him a Blink Dagger. This is something that is going to help Root keep up the pressure. Again, they are not having the best late game in the world, but if they keep on finding picks and if they keep on getting slightly better trades, then the gold advantage that Root have is just going to win them the game. I mean, Ogre Magi could go for something like a Scythe of Vice, and once he has that, I mean, it's just freaking all over for Isurus. They're going to smoke up and try to look for something, but they're going to run straight into an unhappy Ogre and the rest of his team to boot. Lycus does have a Blink Echo Slam, gotta make it to heaven, is going to hit with the first Fire Blast. No secondary Fire Blast just yet. Puppy the Fat's going to look for an angle. Now Papita's going to jump right in, but he gets silenced. He can't get anything off. Now where's the Chronosphere? Papita's going to get annihilated. Now here's the huge Echo Slam from Lycus, and GDX, no ultimate for him. He's going to die beforehand. Now Dulce is the only one to survive. He's going to try to Stampede away, and I think he's going to make it unless Lycus blinks forward for a Fissure. But no, he's not going to do that. It is going to be the escape of the Centaur, but holy crap, Root, they catch Isurus in much the worst positioning. Honestly, it was bad positioning either side, as the AoE, if it was thrown, would have destroyed each respective team. But Root have a crucial silence from your boy JC, killing off the Faceless Void, so there's no Chronosphere, there's no Chaotic Offering, and they get all their AoE off first.
Yeah, and it's going to be at least a 3-man Echo. I think he might have gotten the damage on one more, although the stun only landed on the 3. It was still a great Echo Slam coming out from your Earthshaker, and it was a terrible place for Isurus to be fighting. They weren't able to get the Chronosphere off, they weren't able to get the Chaotic Offering, and without those 2 spells, their team fight isn't very good, especially when you're burst down that quickly. The Blink Dagger hasn't really done much from Ink, but it is going to put a lot of pressure onto Isurus, and the positioning is just going to be punished that much more if it's not completely on point. And when you're grouped up for a 3-man Echo, your positioning is bad, no matter how you look at it.
So GDX, his Warlock play, I mean, there's not really that much you can do when you're just constantly being silenced, except for be in a better position. He hasn't really had that positioning. He has had the Aghanims for such a long time, like 11 minutes now, he's had it. But how many times has it actually been relevant? Like, it helped him get a puck kill once, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, this guy really needs to get some better ultimates, and maybe a Refresher Orb is just going to be the item to help him do that. It's like, I don't really care who this hits. I'm just going to be throwing out so much damage that someone's going to get hit, but I mean, Root are playing pretty well around this Warlock ultimate, and that's really hard to do just because its cast range is so obnoxiously huge, but they're making it happen regardless, and they're keeping up the pressure. Tolera has his Blink Dagger completed, and he's going to go for the Scythe of Vice. The Ogre is 1,900 gold in the bank. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Blink Dagger on him. Really, they have all the items, and they're going to catch a very upset Vengeful Spirit. She's going to drop so very quickly. No multicasts, no problem.
Yeah, not even needed. Beyond Godlike for Ink Dota, his puck is going to claim to Screen Blade up on top. Well, we're going to look at the Chronosphere. It is going to catch with the puck, but Papita's not able to do the damage throughout the majority of this, as he's able to continuously channel that phase shift. And now the Faceless Void needs to get out of there. Going to be Dream Cooled down. He's going to break the coil. Now Silence Up Ultimate. They're going to blow up the Faceless Void, and Ink Dota somehow manages to get the last hit there. Faceless Void thought he was being cute, getting a solo kill onto the puck, but ends up getting punished for it.
That was pretty much the nerfs of Faceless Void coming through. I mean, ordinarily a puck would be extremely, extremely fast in order to get a phase shift off before the Chronosphere, but now he has just so much time to do it. Like, hell, even I could do it. So it's going to be unfortunate circumstances for the Faceless Void. Well played by Tolera, and now Root, they're looking to take another tier 2 tower, or their first tier 2 tower, rather.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think the biggest problem for DDX is he's not used to playing heroes like Warlock. You have to sit so far back with the hero, or at least you can. You can sit more or less an entire screen away and still get off your ultimate with a Force Staff, and he's just not doing that. He wants to be up in the front lines, getting off the Fatal Bonds and stuff, but honestly, I'd rather see him sit on the back lines, get off the ultimate, get off Upheaval, and just try to stay alive as much as possible. They are going to have full forces to defend this tier 2 tower, so maybe Root aren't going to go all into this push, but right now they can still put a lot of pressure onto Isurus, where they can't do much across the other sides of the map. They'll probably get this tier 1 tower done in bottom, but if they commit the H apparition as well as the Warlock, they're going to lose a tier 2 tower for it, and there might even be a defense, honestly. They're not fully committing.
Yeah, Ink Dota is chipping away at the tower. Level 4 Nether Toxin doing some pretty serious hurt. Deny attempts from Gotta Make It to Heaven, but it's not going to be quite enough as Root take a free tier 2 tower, and they're not going to lose anything. The tower is going to be defended down on bottom as Ogre does make his rotation down there. And this is just getting kind of out of hand for Isurus. The Faceless Void's not getting the perfect Chronospheres. The Warlock is not getting his ultimate down pretty much at all. And when that doesn't happen, what's going right for you? Vengeful Spirit dying is certainly not good for you. It's Root just getting win after win, and this is really starting to become a problem for Isurus. I felt like even though Root had a gold lead for a large portion of this game, it's now feeling like they have a serious lead. Tubby the Fat is going to get jumped upon by Dulce, but he's going to turn things around, double Fire Blast, and suddenly they're both at the same amounts of HP. This Ogre Magi is really freaking tanky, and if you only have a Centaur jumping in, it's not going to be enough. This guy is stacked.
Yeah, Ice Blast or not, now if the bottle is going to get himself at some decent amounts of HP, and with the Soul Ring as well as just its base amounts of regen, it's regenerating at about 7 a second, which is plenty to keep Ogre Magi at least on the back lines of the fight, to keep spamming out those spells, and they're going to go into Roshan Pit with the Medallion on the Skywrath as well as Bloodlust onto the Viper. It's not going to be the fastest Roshan you've ever seen, but it's going to be serviceable. It's not a great place for Root to be fighting, and this could be a punished mistake. Although the Warlock's not even close, DDX doesn't have a TP scroll either. There's not a way that he can get into this pit. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast lands. That's going to be annoying, but right now Isurus just aren't in a good position to defend against this.
Literally the worst place for Root to be fighting right now, and if the Warlock was here, Root, they would be dead by now. Like, it doesn't really matter how bad his ultimates have been in the past. They're going to jump in straight for Dulce. Now the Stampede is forced out. Here comes Pepita. He wants a Chronosphere, but look at this positioning. Root have some on the high ground, some on the low ground. It's honestly pretty bad positioning from Root, but it's good positioning if you're trying to dodge a Chronosphere. They pull out the Stampede, and they're going to go right back into the Roshan Pit. Root, they're looking to take this Aegis, and the Warlock, with the Stampede movement speed, is going to get a little bit closer. And now things get really dangerous for Root, because it doesn't matter how far ahead you are. If you're going to get hit with a ultimate level 3 from a Warlock with Aghanims, you're going to be taking some serious hits. And they have vision of this, though so do the Radiant, so they can't even get a realistic opening with a puck jump in, or they can, it's just going to be very difficult. So this is going to be really hard for Root, as Pepita's still looking for a Chronosphere opportunity. Gonna jump right in. Chronosphere only onto 1, however. That was not the best Chronosphere he's ever seen. Now the Tolera initiation onto DDX. He's gonna snap the coil, and he's gonna get out of there just fine. He's not gonna die just yet, and everyone is going to be falling back. Like is still up on top side, along with the Skywrath Mage. You're gonna be just fine to poke and prod, but it's gonna be Pepita on the run. He's gonna be chased down with the orb, and the poison attack from Ink Dota. Pepita is gonna try to TP out. The magic damage should be high enough, although he's gonna backtrack most of it. Holy god, the luck from Pepita is real. The Faceless Void Chronosphere is down, however, and that means Root can go right back into the Roshan Pit and finish this.
He backtracked 2 auto attacks from the Viper that would have killed him off, and that last auto attack actually followed him across the map. I don't think it actually connected, it was disjointed, but still very humorous watching a giant big green blob flowing across the map. There is going to be a disjoint on the concussed shot. On the backlines, we have an Echo Slam finding poor DDX, who's blown up. No ultimate for this fight either, and without a Chronosphere, their ability to fight in the pit is completely neutered. Aegis going to weigh very easily of Fruit after just a couple of misplays coming out for Isurus. Getting caught in an awkward situation. Their positioning was okay to start things off, but they get peeled away. Now the blink on the Viper. He's going to blink towards the left, finds nobody. Then Viper strike away and make it to heaven, but he might lose the Aegis, and he is indeed going to do so, although he keeps his streak running, gets a kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Not the way you want to use the Aegis, but then again, Ink is going to come back as strong as ever. Now it's Sight Device on the puck, and the ability of Root to fight has just gotten so much stronger. It's unlikely that we're going to see a great Chronosphere at all this game until BKB is online for the Faceless Void, and this Warlock, is he going to be able to do anything? I don't know. Warlock needs to stand so far away from the fights that it's not even funny. With the blinking Viper, as well as just their range of initiation coming out from Root, and he's just not doing that. The only time that he's been away from the fight is when he's split pushing top, and he needs to be further away than that, or not further away, but closer to team fight. He needs to be like halfway in between those 2 spots. There is going to be a casual cloak picked up on the Warlock, but honestly that's not going to save you. If you get a multicast on the Fire Blast cloak or not, you're dead, and it's going to be a nice pickup, but it's not going to be anywhere close to saving you. Tier 2 tower in mid is going to fall. Just Ink Dota chipping away at it. They are going to glyph this, but Isurus aren't in a position to fight with Pepita farming the enemy jungle.
And Root are playing so well against the Warlock as well. Like Lycus, he jumped in and committed Echo Slam, not a second thought. He knew that if he stunned the Warlock, and if he got 1 stun off, then he would get the 2nd stun off and the 3rd stun, and everyone else would be following suit. So Root, they are not making life easy for DDX, to be fair. Like all the blink daggers, the constant initiations, diving deep for that crowd control is working out so very well for them, and that combined with the fact that DDX, just seemingly not a Warlock player, is having some serious trouble. Root are catching the Warlock off pretty much every single time. The Warlock hasn't gotten his ultimate off in like, what, 8 minutes? Something like that. Yeah. Like, he has just been struggling so much, and Root have been taking this time to take objective after objective, and the Warlock is irrelevant. You really, I think if you're Isurus, have to give DDX flashy heroes. Give them Storm Spirits, Invokers, and Queens of Pain, stuff like that. Don't give him a Warlock. It's just not his type of hero.
No, it's really not. And if you're able to shut him down that hard, that's 13k net worth that's off of the board for Isurus. And then their next highest is their Faceless Void. And at this point in the game, Mask of Madness and the BKB is not going to cut it. His net worth is closer to that of the Earthshaker than the Viper.
Root are getting scarily ahead right now. 15k plus, almost 20k net worth lead. Experience looking the exact same way. It's going to be hard for Root to actually break the base, since when you are pushing the base, you're inherently going to be a lot more vulnerable to Chronospheres and to Chaotic Offerings. So it's going to be difficult for them to actually pull that trigger, but hell, they have a Sheepstick on the puck. They have a Bloodstone on the Ogre Magi. He's going to have mana for days. And Root, they're getting big items on their supports as well. Double Force Staffs with Blink Dagger on the Shaker. Viper is going for a freaking Butterfly. This is really difficult for Isurus. They, I said before, had proper late game, but I did not anticipate Root playing this well. No matter what happens in this game, Root have thoroughly impressed me with their play.
Absolutely. And I didn't expect the Faceless Void to be this under-farmed. He's died 5 times and hasn't been able to set the kills with Chronosphere. And at this point, he's a utility Void that doesn't have any follow-up for Chronosphere, and that's not a very happy Void. They are going to look for initiation. They find it onto Tubby the Fat, but who's found who? Dulce is going to be dropped even lower just by the double Fire Blast. If there was a multicast on either one of those, that would be a dead Dulce. They jump in looking for the Chronosphere. Pepita trying to find it, but he's going to get Viper Struck for his trouble, and he can't actually go for this. The BKB comes out from Ink, and he's just going to turn and fight, dropping Algadonchian very low. The Chronosphere is going to be decent, I suppose. Catching Viper on the sidelines as Dream Coil is dropped. There's your ultimate from the Warlock. It's going to be focused down Ink and doing a lot of damage to the Skywrath Mage as well, but is it enough? I don't think so. No, the double Fire Blast in the backlines. They find DDX as well as the Vengeful Spirit, and they're both going to be dropped. The Warlock Golems are still chasing down anything that they can, but there's not going to be enough damage to actually accomplish anything. It'll drop JC low, but Pepita is going to be the one to actually fall on Root. They're just walking all over Isurus. That fight didn't start out terribly for Isurus. They're actually able to get off their spells, but with the amount of advantage that Root have, it doesn't matter. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is going to spell the end of Skywrath Mage's days in this world. So, just a little bit of a sad song here as we watch your boy JC get dropped. He's going to attempt to TP back to base, but honestly, it's just going to be 100 wasted gold. Tier 3 tower, however, is probably going to suffer a similar fate, as even with the Warlock Golem still on the ground, there's no Chronosphere, no Chaotic Offering, and there's nothing they have to fear. Earthshaker going to be dropped low by the Golems. The Golems are about to time out. Lycus is actually going to be Flaming Fisted, but now they are looking for Dulce. Jumping from the puck, defensive swap coming out from the Vengeful Spirit, but that might have just secured the kill on both of them, and indeed it will, as that's going to be 4 heroes down on the side of Isurus. Earthshaker is not going to be in this fight, but it doesn't matter. The Blinks galore on the Algadonchian. He throws out the ultimate with his dying breath, but the Puck and Viper are going to be completely fine with this, as the tier 3 tower is almost entirely exposed. Warlock and Faceless Void are going to respawn, but what are they going to be able to do about this?
Pain game played by Root. The fact that Ogre Magi is just so freaking tanky, and the Warlock ultimate over in mid lane, it looked like it was good, but Tolera saw it and he dodged it with Phase Shift, or dodged the initial stun, so he was able to dodge all the follow-up damage thereafter, and the Viper took the brunt of it, and Viper's more than happy to take that. Now they're going to go for DDX one more time. Pepita does not have a Chronosphere for another 4 seconds. He will just go to town to Tubby the Fat, though. Multicast onto DDX. One is not going to kill him off. He's going to get swapped up to the high ground. He's going to survive. Now Pepita going to go to town onto Tubby the Fat. He will get that kill, however, killing off Ink. That's a different order altogether. Ink is slowly going to escape. He'll blink out of there. In fact, Root have potentially gone a little bit too deep and put themselves at a little bit of a risk. Pepita now has no Chronosphere just yet. He's going to try to go for Tolera. Here comes Dulce from behind, but Ink in the BKB is going to annihilate the Faceless Void. Now Stampede is out, but what can Dulce really do about this? He's going to get chain stun by Tubby the Fat. He's going to go down. That's 2 down from Isurus. Centaur has got to buy back, I feel, and Root have got to calm down and take Rax's Ignite onto everyone. Algadonchian's going to go down. Multicast onto the Warlock. Chain stun him down. He's going to drop as well. Buybacks on Centaur and Warlock are so desperately needed right now because Root are going to take the first sets of Rax in this game. There goes range. Melee soon to follow. Holy crap, I think they might just have done it. If they just dodged the Warlock ultimate for so long, and that's just so difficult to do.
It really is. Viper and company, I'm not sure they're going to be able to get him out of the base. It's just going to be a straight rotate down towards mid, and GG, called up by Vengeful Spirit. The Ogre Magi, they got the kill on him while he dove very quick, or very deep into enemy base, but Tubby, with the amount of Bloodstone charges he had, he was back in like 10 seconds flat, and with the Boots of Travel, it's going to be back into the fight, and when the Ogre Magi is there, they just can't do anything. The multicast and the chain stun was ridiculous, and that's going to be Root Gaming taking the series 2-1. Hopefully they're not too late for their next series, but despite server difficulties as well as just Isurus being late, they are going to come away with the victory. And a win's a win, and they're going to be well on their way towards the Division 1 in the next series of Join Dota League, and I think they might have secured it. Yeah.
Fortunately, Isurus are now in Division 2. I don't think they're the type of team that really deserves to be in Division 2. They're extremely good, but this day belongs to Root. They outplayed so hard. 18-0 freaking 12 on Inc. Dota. Oh my god, this dude is freaking out of control.
And especially when you look at the early game for Root, I thought the Isurus were going to be able to take it. Their lanes looked really solid. They just weren't able to do anything with that advantage. Either way, I've been Grandis V, he's been Mike Loris, and we're here on HeflaTV. If you like the casting here, follow us on Facebook, as well as on Twitter at HeflaTV, as well as here on our Twitch channels. You can find the VODs uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke. Probably will be up about an hour or so after the stream goes offline for the night. But other than that, you can stick around for some music and some ads if you want to support us. Any final thoughts here to close out the stream?
Root got themselves into Division 1, if I'm reading this correctly, and this game shows that they deserve to be there. So I'm very much so looking forward to seeing more of Root in the future.